It wasn't supposed to feel like this inside McLaren. Two young stars, equal cars, equal rules. And yet whispers of bias keep echoing through the paddock. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri sit 1 point apart at the top of the championship, but every radio call, every pit wall order now feels heavier than ever. One wrong message and the team's dream season could fracture from within. If you love F1 without the noise, hit subscribe and let's get into it. Zak Brown insists McLaren is ignoring all talk of overmanaging. He told the Beyond the Grid podcast the team is transparent, fair, and focused on itself, comparing the noise from critics to static outside the MTC walls. But for fans and even rival paddock voices like Alex Albon and Sergio Perez, the picture looks more complicated. Because while Brown calls them two sons, some weekends have told a different story. At Monza, Piastri was ordered to hand the position back after a slow stop cost Norris time. In Singapore, a brush between the pair saw Oscar reprimanded and Lando favored in Austin qualifying. Small details, yes, but in a title race this tight, small details decide world championships. Behind the calm smiles at McLaren, a shadow has been growing in Red Bull blue. Max Verstappen, 104 points adrift just a few rounds ago, has cut the gap to 36 heading into Sao Paulo. His form is ruthless. Low drag setups, perfect tire calls, and that eerie sense that he's always one safety car away from snatching momentum. For Zak Brown and Andrea Stella, the nightmare scenario is clear. Their insistence on treating Norris and Piastri equally could let Verstappen slip through the middle. It's a classic Formula One paradox. Fairness versus focus. Former drivers like Sergio Perez have been blunt, saying McLaren is messing around instead of locking onto one leader. Even Alex Albon suggested that a single driver strategy could easily block Verstappen's surge. But Stella won't budge, repeating that both sons deserve the same chance. Still, strategy sheets tell a subtler story. Twice this season, Piastri's pit windows have been stretched to protect Norris's undercut. In Japan and Mexico, team radio hinted at hesitation. Hold position for now, Oscar. Each time, Verstappen dimmed ground. McLaren's ethos might be noble, but with 4 races left, noble might not be enough. Monza was a turning point. For most of 2025, McLaren had lived by its mantra, let them race. But when a slow pit stop dropped Norris behind Piastri, the radio message that followed shattered the illusion of equality. Oscar, give the position back. The order was clean, polite, professional. Yet to anyone watching, it carried weight. Norris was the homegrown star, the one who joined as a teenager and grew up in Papaya. Piastri, the quiet assassin from Melbourne, was simply faster that day. And still, he moved aside. Then came Singapore. Norris forced his way past Piastri on lap 1 with the kind of aggression that usually ends in carbon fiber shrapnel. Light contact, but heavy consequences. Internally, McLaren gave Piastri qualifying priority at the next round in Austin as a balancing measure. It felt less like equality, more like damage control. Andrea Stella later brushed it off, saying they both understand the rules. But inside the paddock, analysts saw a pattern. Piastri yielding, Norris benefiting. In a two-driver title fight, optics matter as much as lap time, and those optics now looked one-sided. McLaren's problem isn't just inside the cockpit, it's in perception. Every slow stop, every coded radio call becomes fuel for a fan base hypersensitive to fairness. Norris loyalists point to his consistency and leadership. Piastri supporters see a quiet talent kept in check by invisible strings. Andrea Stella tried to calm the storm with a simple analogy. It's like having two sons. How can I pick a favorite? The quote was heartfelt, but it backfired. Within hours, social media had split into camps, one defending the father figure, the other accusing McLaren of emotional bias. Behind the scenes, engineers insist both cars are identical, both strategies independently built. Yet the margins tell a subtler truth. One-lap offsets, split tire calls, or the occasional hold position order. None of it proves favoritism, but in a season where the title fight could swing by a single undercut, it doesn't have to. Even McLaren's rivals have noticed. A Red Bull strategist quipped off record. They're managing feelings, not points. It stung because it felt partly true. For a team chasing its first driver's crown since 2008, McLaren now fights two battles, one against Verstappen and one against perception itself. Step inside the McLaren Technology Center and you can almost feel the tension hum through the glass walls. Data engineers pore over split sector graphs, comparing Norris and Piastri corner by corner. Strategy chiefs simulate 1,000 race outcomes overnight, each one a different balance between equality and efficiency. Zak Brown insists they don't let the noise in. Yet that's easier said than done when every journalist, rival, and fan is asking the same question. Should McLaren pick a number one? The answer, officially, is still no. Brown repeats that their drivers know they have equal opportunity to win the World Championship. But reality doesn't always fit into press quotes. In side briefings, words like risk allocation and title optimization have begun to appear, coded language for scenarios where one driver may need to play the support role. It's not favoritism, it's mathematics. Both Lando and Oscar understand that calculus. Each smiles for the cameras, each promises teamwork. Yet behind those smiles, they know. One of them will eventually have to yield, not for team orders, but for the arithmetic of the championship. 7 seasons in Papaya leave a deep imprint. Lando Norris isn't just McLaren's lead driver, he's part of its identity. From his teenage debut to podium heartbreaks and his first wins, he's become the emotional anchor of Zak Brown's rebuild. That longevity carries weight, even when no one admits it aloud. Inside the paddock, rivals whisper about institutional bias. They point to Norris's familiarity with the engineers, the radio shorthand, the trust built over years. None of it breaks the rules, but it subtly tilts the playing field. Piastri, brilliant and composed, is still the newcomer. His feedback hasn't yet woven itself into McLaren's muscle memory. Andrea Stella rejects any talk of emotional favoritism. He insists they're my 2 sons, both all in for the team. And yet even fans who admire his honesty see the symbolism. In every family, one child inevitably feels older, more understood. It's not conspiracy, it's human nature. And in a championship separated by a single point, human nature becomes strategy by accident. Oscar Piastri doesn't do drama. He doesn't throw his hands up on the radio or lobby for special treatment. He just drives, precisely, relentlessly, often faster than anyone realizes until the timing screens refresh. That calm exterior, though, might be McLaren's biggest hidden weapon, or their slowest burning fuse. Every time Piastri absorbs a team order without complaint, he gains quiet respect inside the garage. Mechanics talk about his consistency, how he can adapt mid-race with minimal instruction. His telemetry has become a benchmark for efficiency, clean inputs, minimal tire wear, maximum feedback. But the same restraint that makes him effective also makes him easy to overlook in tense moments. When the pit wall hesitates between protecting Norris's strategy or releasing Piastri for track position, it's often the louder radio that wins. Still, his recent drives, especially in Mexico and Suzuka, have shifted the tone. He's proving that pace can't be managed forever. If McLaren truly keeps their promise of equality, that data may soon force a choice they've tried to avoid all year. As the championship enters its final stretch, McLaren's greatest strength has become its biggest dilemma. 2 drivers, 1 dream, and a Red Bull closing fast. Every podium, every pit caught now carries championship weight, and the cost of indecision grows with every lap. Zak Brown's public line hasn't changed. We let them race. But deep inside the McLaren Technology Center, strategy simulations are telling the harsher truth. If Verstappen continues his climb, neutrality equals defeat. Someone will have to play the long game. Someone will have to protect the points. Fans can sense it coming. The quiet moment when one driver gets the call to hold position, and the other becomes the team's spearhead. It won't be betrayal, just the unavoidable arithmetic of Formula One. Still, Andrea Stella refuses to call it favoritism. He insists they're my 2 sons. Yet, as the lights go out in Sao Paulo, love won't win the title. Precision will. And whichever McLaren crosses the line first, the world will see not just a champion, but the cost of equality in the fastest sport on Earth. If you followed this far, don't miss the next chapter in our McLaren Civil War series, where we break down how the Sao Paulo weekend could decide not just who wins, but who the team truly backs.